Good evening everyone and welcome to the US Grand Prix of World Championship Series. And so, like I said, US Grand Prix today upcoming. And we are having some technical difficulties. At least 3 drivers are trying to join, but they can't because of the NAT type. So if nothing is helping, we might need to change the host that I will host, and we will be having 11 drivers. So well, looks like we need to change the host, so I will host the session. Then everyone should be able to join. My internet is nearly 500 megabytes, so it should work. I will tell people that I host. Well, these technical difficulties never easing up. Everything is working always like 15 minutes before the race, and then when the stream begins, everything goes wrong. Literally the moment I press the stream begin button, everything goes like... nothing works after that one. It's like a magic button, shut down internet. It's basically that kind of button. But I host, so we should not have any problems. At this point, let's check the standings, and after that the weather forecast for today's race. So there's a standings, Jokke leading by 39 points, so he has an opportunity to secure his Drivers' Championship title this weekend. And I haven't checked at the needings how many points he needs. And I will need to count that as soon as possible. But I'm making the lobby here, so we can get underway. My PlayStation is also lagging a bit, so now I have made the lobby so I can invite people again. But these technical difficulties they always suck. They always suck. They never ease up, so it's starting to be frustrating. But yep, there are the standings and the weather forecast for today's race. So as you can see, it will be a wet qualifying. And well, I was about to say something, but I forgot what I had to say. Yeah, lol, wet. Yeah, it is wet. It is freaking wet. Now I have invited everyone to the session. So, shortly we go underway. I'm hoping that Trouble joins. And when he joins, we would have a commentator. Someone's needing a new invite. So we'll be having 12 drivers. That's a very good amount still, even though we are so end at the season. 12 drivers is good amount when we compare to another races where we haven't had nearly any people. So 11 drivers actually. US is with the strict corner cutting, it's a hell track. It's literally a hell. But when you're racing with a regular corner cutting stringency, it is not. So I think we need to say let's go, because we are already 5 past, so we need to go. PMP Mac is not racing, so he won't be suffering his quali ban today, which he got yesterday. 11 drivers is quite a lot when we compare that it's last 3 weeks of the game. This game to be the next game. And the lack of drivers we have had, this is not even the worst possible situation. We had 8 drivers in the F2 3 weeks ago, so that was a terrible decision. That was a terrible case. So 11 is better than 8. But yeah, now we are going in the lobby. Invite Frapple as soon as possible before I forget. There goes 5 seconds before we start. But yeah, shortly we will begin the US qualifying, and after that the 28 lap race. Hopefully we have an interesting race, because I don't want to sit here with everyone having 5-second gaps to everyone. And the qualifying has started here in Circuit of the Americans. And I am Parky Sacco, your commentator today, and also the owner of this VCS League World Championship Series. But it's time to begin the action here in Kota. Intermediate conditions throughout the qualifying, so there is no chance for the weather to get worse or dry up, so it will be intermediate conditions throughout. Flying Grass, who was previously Nolla Femma, he is back this weekend after quite a long break. And his last finish in this league was Hungary 2nd place, which was very good, and now he's going to the track as a first driver to leave a garage. And now there are a lot of drivers leaving the garage. So, Flying Grass first on the track, number 96. So, Kota as a track today, very tricky track. There were, if I remember correctly, 20 turns. And this S section, this is critical, because if you make a mistake there, your whole lap is ruined. There should not be lag. It is your internet, at least my OBS is saying all green. So it is your internet if this stream is lagging. But like I said, very tricky track. One mistake in the sector 1 can cost you the whole lap, especially in the wets. And today in the qualifying we have strict rule that if you cut the track anywhere, any point in the first sector, you will receive a straight quali ban for the last 2 coming rounds. And as Jokke is leading the race by championship by 39 points before the last 3 races, that means Womble needs to get at least 13 points a race. He needs to close the gap by at least 13 points a race. And after this race, the gap needs to be 52 or less. So if Jokke can outscore Womble by at least 13 points, he wins the championship. So if Jokke wins and Womble is not in top 3, Jokke is the world champion. So quite good result is enough for the second championship, but 52 point gap is needed for that one. Actually 53 because Womble has more wings. So 53 or more needs to be the gap. So he needs to outscore Womble by 14 points in order to secure the championship or early this week. So it won't be an easy task for Jokke. Next week in Brazil it should wrap it up. If the gap stays like this in 40 points. He should be able to secure it next week very easily. Womble needs to outscore Jokke by at least 20 points next week. So Womble's task is going to be hard. And Womble and Jokke are both in the session. I was looking where is Womble, and they are both in the session. Jokke here having a wet run. Actually, TTV Telehype is also a new driver for the league. And FVA Salesman, also another new name in the race. So out from 11, 3 are new drivers. Which will be racing for us, hopefully, also in the next game. Has no one done a lap yet? I think Flying Grass will be the first driver to go across the line with a valid lap time. So let's see what is he able to do. Fairly racing for a first time for a while now. This weekend, and that's Flying Grass having a little drift. He lost it completely. He's into the barriers, luckily not hitting the wall. Oh, well, I take that back. And Fairly puts 147.2 on the board for the first run. Zero having invalidated lap time. Then it's Pihkanen, who is actually third in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. Yeah, you knew that someone's going to spin. Pihkanen goes nowhere because invalidation. Enduro having an outlap. TTV Helatype goes nowhere. Teamset has crashed. There's no one nearby, so we cannot have a look at it. He has crashed somewhere in the second sector, middle sector, at the end of the middle sector, so that's rest in peace. He's qualifying and he will be starting last place. Womble the Rainmaster, he is really liking these conditions. It is giving him a chance for pole position, but the race matters the most. There goes Salesman across the line, 146.1 on the board. That's 1 second quicker than Fairly, but Jokke goes half a second slower. There's Tompa in the way of Zeroy. Zeroy is having a lap this time. 10.2 in the middle sector. It's a very wide line. I take it more close, but these drivers know the racing lines a bit better than me. I'm always taking that corner a little bit different line than the others. And I have realized that I lose time there, so I need to change my racing lines as soon as possible. Zero coming very well through the final corners. From P8 with no time, he goes to second fastest. Ferrari 1-2 lockout at the moment. 2/10 off the pace at the moment. And then there's Pihkanen with another invalidated lap time. Enduro, this time getting a lap in Mexico. He was on a lap, but he failed to cash in on the final possible opportunity and he had to start last place. This time he goes third fastest with 4/10 behind. And now there's Telehype having a terrible lap in there. 5 seconds off the pace at the moment. And that car is lagging. It's not the stream, it's the car lagging, so I mind not spectating that much at the moment. Now Womble, the Rainmaster, having a lap very well, hitting the apex. This should be a fastest lap, easily should be. Look at that, 145.388, and that's by 8/10 the quickest lap time set at the moment. Salmas improves by 2/10. And then there's Jokke with invalidated lap time, looks like from the final corner. And Flying Grass Nolla Femma trying again. Zero having invalidated lap time, so I think the hype's not improving, so there's no one on the lap. At the moment, Womble having a run. 145.3 firstly. And there's Flying Grass again spinning. Now there's no one on the lap. So, or is Tompa? No, he's on an out lap, so. Let's see the replay of Flying Grass spinning out in the final corner. Here we can see losing the back end and nearly keeping it a bit too much oversteer and gone. Not hitting the wall yet, but in the return hitting the barrier, which was not captured, but he hit the barrier there, and that's rest in peace for his race, or not for the qualifying lap at that point. I saw the strategy options at this point, so there are the strategy options for today's race. So strategy A on the softs, 4 hards on lap 7 or mediums, but hards are shown in there. Strategy B, oh, is there actually, there's everything missing in the photo. There should be lines and that kind of stuff, but there is none for some reason. But there are the strategy options. The graphic was lagging a little bit, so I didn't show the photo properly, but those were the strategy options for today's race. And both of those options are available because it's raining the quali, so you can choose the tire on which you want to start the race. Joki going for the limit. Joki is only half a second behind at the point. And I think he just finished the lap, so he's not on a new one. Tompa is on a new run. That's not a good line to go with. Yeah, the car is lagging very badly. I think he got the track there, but the game didn't give him any invalidation. It's okay. Then there's Pihkanen behind, also having a run, so Tompa and Pihkanen having a runs. Flying Cross is in the pits. Fairly also having a run, so Tompa, Pihkanen and Fairly in order having a lap. Let's look at Tompa first, what he can do in the middle sector. Let's compare the middle sectors. Middle sector 110.7. That's the fastest second sector at the time. And there's Pihkanen, so Tompa had 110.7. What is Pihkanen gonna do? 19.8. That's a good lap. A good sector. And then Fairly with his McLaren 110.6. So from these drivers, Pihkanen is the fastest after 2 sectors. And Pihkanen actually by a mile. Tompa across the line, he stays 7th. Then there's Pihkanen. Very easily taking it the final corner, going a bit wide there. Cross the line, Pihkanen goes second fastest, 4 tenths away. And then there's Fairly for the final corner. Improving by 2 tenths at the moment, not giving any positions on the board. Cross the line, that improvement's enough for P6. The third sector was awful on the last lap, and now he improves out to P6. Hype starting his next lap. And Flying Cross preparing for next one. Zeroy is the next driver to go across the line. Let's look at the middle sector. So 9 point something must be the pole time at the moment. He goes 110.4. He's not improving at the moment. If he doesn't improve, if he's not going to improve after the penultimate corner, I suggest to box, because you get only 4.5 minutes. It's better to box, take the minimum car, the minimum fuel load, get a new set of inters and go out again, rather than having one out lap, then another out lap, and you're just wasting time. If he's not improving, I suggest you to pit. Looks like he's improving. At least he is not pitting. Let's see where he goes. He goes cross the line, not improving, losing by 3/10, so that was a bad decision to stay out. Tompa having invalidated lap time. Yeah, he boxes like he should. Beacon will be boxing, and there's Tompa. He has run off in the pit entry, and he has hit the barrier there. Tilahab's having invalidation, so now it's flying grass. He's also having invalidated lap time. So now it's Salesman, the next driver to go across the line. Let's see the middle sector time in the top right. What can he do? One 9.1, that's a very strong middle sector. Or it is after 2 sectors in total, but 9.1 is very good lap time at that stage of the lap. At least the track map says that that would be the fastest middle sector at the point. We cannot trust it, Codemasters, we cannot trust the map. We need to see the lap time actually on scoreboard. Let's see how does it go. Oh, bit over the line, but game not giving him validation. There was not that much time gain. And there goes off the final car. Salesman goes provisional pole position with a very hot lap time, 44.9. That's half a second quicker than Womble. But Womble's behind. He's improving by half a second. He goes. Oh no, his last sector was bad, so he's still 2/10 down. And there's only 2.5 minutes to go, so Salesman is going to take the pole position. At the moment in the session, no one else has time. Jokke preparing for his last run off this afternoon. Two tenths to pole position, and now Jokke is going for it. He's starting his lap. There goes. He's 1 second off the pace. He just needs a strong weekend now, and he has a high chance to secure the championship next weekend. With a very good luck, even this week, but he needs to outscore Womble by at least 14 points, which will be a hard task. But if he succeeds this weekend, next weekend will be just driving very safely and finishing the race, and that's a championship. Doing very well off the first sector, bit sliding the back, but that's okay in those corners. Now that's sliding maybe a bit too harshly, but I think it's okay. Tela Hype still not getting a lap in. He's 7 seconds off the pace. That would be over the 107% mark, so he would be out qualified for the race. Luckily in the game there is no that kind of system. Yeah, Salesman has no time to go for another run, so that's the end of his qualifying. Womble trying again. No, not trying again. Excuse me. Beacon and everyone starting their new laps. So it is Jokke. He is not improving and the car is sliding, so that might be end of his session. P4 and 1 second off the pace. Of course, it is rainy conditions, so everything can happen, even for the champions. But he just needs to secure the championship. That's all he needs. He's going for another one. He is going for another one. He got 40 seconds. And he can still try one more. This Enduro, next driver to go across the line with a lap time. 1:10.3 for the middle sector. That's 1 second off the pace in the middle sector compared to the leading guys. 10 seconds for drivers to start. Fairly the last driver to start, and now it will be a I have no idea how to say it, the word now. The checkered flag. Enduro to go cross it first. What he will does, he finishes third with 6/10 of the pace. Now Zeroy. How he can still start the lap? The clock has been red for the last 20 seconds. How can he still start a new lap? Actually, even Enduro is not finished yet, so the session is broken very badly. So it's not a checkered flag yet. Pihkanen having validation and going again now. Womble through the final corner. Cross the line. Womble goes provisional pole. 44.7. And looks like he will take it. Jokke is improving by half a second. What he can do? Cross the line, goes third fastest, half a second off the pace. Now it's flying cross, he just needs to get a lap in. 10.4 in the middle sector, that's a good middle sector, just don't lose it now. Just get a lap on the board, P9 is secure if you get it. Bit backsliding for the final corner. Cross the line goes, gets a lap in and that's P8. Furley, cross the line. That's P6 and end of the qualifying. This track can be tricky, like we just saw. So Womble taking the pole position by 2/10 to Salesman, then Jokke, Enduro and Pihkanen. Furley, Zeroy, Flying Cross, Tompa, Telahype and the team set without a lap time. Shortly we will go in Kota. Now the drivers are lining up for the grid for today's race. 28 laps. And we go very, very shortly in quota with 11 drivers. So nearly a finish gives you a point in this 28, during these 28 laps. Luckily in the next game I don't need to play with this starting beeping effect because it's in the game, it's in the vanilla game. These lights are broken, so I will put them on now. And we are underway here in Kota. Womble gets a good looking start, but Salesman goes down the inside. Also Enduro and Pika, and where is Jokka? Jokka has again dropped in the start, so terrible start. Let's check the tires. Oh, 4 guys on the mediums and 7 on the softs. So they really have their own strategies. Womble still leading. And we have no idea about the remainder of the session, the weather. Oh, that's a very good blocking by Enduro. Blocking off Fairley, who had an amazing start, up to P4 already. That one was a clean start for this race. Nothing bad to say. But Jokke had a terrible start for this race. His start wasn't so good. And now Enduro going down the inside of Salesman. And that's the move done. Very great overtake by Enduro. And he has really done some good laps, or good overtakes on the first lap. Womble, of course, gets the fastest lap for crossing the line first this lap. And Womble's leading by quite a big gap already in this race. And the race start. Here it is. So Womble had a great start, as we can see, also Fairley and Flying Grass there in the middle. Jokke was stuck in the middle, so that's why he dropped several positions. Then we come to these S curves. And they were also very good. And now we have a battle here on the background. Fairly defending against Flying Grass. 3 wide moment for temporarily. Flying Grass around the outside, Fairley cutting the track. Stay close one. First Fairley. Flying Grass down the inside and overtaking Fairley. But Fairley is still in there down the inside for the next left-hander. Oh, there was contact between Pikkanen and Flying Grass. There was some very minor contact. And now he's running wide. He's running wide. He has wing damage, looks like. Pikkanen 3 seconds. Yeah, looks like Pikkanen has wing damage. Team set sees his opportunity. Down the inside, but there's not enough space. And Jokke down to P8. DRS enabled after this lap. Very good defending from Fairley. And Flying Grass really giving him some pressure from behind. Tompa 3 seconds. Flying Grass really giving some pressure for Fairley from behind. The DRS is now in use. Flying Grass said before the race that he might not be in 100% performance. But whatever, he's doing an overtake from Fairley off the track a little bit. This is very good action, and also Pihkanen down the inside of team said. This is amazing battling. And Fairley leaves absolutely no space for Flying Grass and still somehow stays ahead. Now Flying Grass is putting his nose to the gap, which no longer exists. That was a very strong battle. Very strong battle. And that was team said, and also Zeroy in the same train getting a penalty. Womble is leading the race by a mile, and Jokke is already down by 10 seconds. Let's see, does he have the same safety car luck as he had last week? Round the outside, Flying Grass having to go. These guys are still side by side. Oh, nearly losing it, nearly losing it. Let's see the replay quickly. Here's a minor battle. Side by side was lap 2, so before the DRS was open. And then there's the contact by Pihkanen. And now Flying Grass already nearly passed before the DRS even opens. And that's goodbye for you. There's a lot of action behind Jokke, down the inside of team said. Up to P7 on those medium tires. Now the mediums may start to work because of the drivers on the softs having issues, and that's team said's front wing literally gone. There's a big hit to the back of Jokke. Not making good for the car. And Flying Grass has managed to get past Fairley. And now Pihkanen is giving some pressure for Fairley. That was a very wide line. That's IndyCar track limits. That's clearly IndyCar track limits. Trying to gain some time against Flying Grass with the DRS now. Not getting close enough, and looks like Flying Grass is going to keep the position for a while now. At least for now, I say. I don't say anything 100% sure before the race is over. And Fairley losing it. That was a very dramatic looking. Fairley gets 3 seconds for that one. And there goes Pihkanen with the same door. He sees the door opening and he goes to the gap which exists. And he successfully makes the overtake down. Now Fairley in some clear trouble. Looks like his tires are overheated. Jokke is now... He needs to take care about Zeroy. He's also in his tail. Everyone getting a slipstream from Pihkanen. Jokke banged the wheels with Fairley. Jokke and Fairley banged the wheels a little bit. And Fairley gives the position for Jokke. Jokke up to P6. The main thing is, if Jokke finishes in front of Womble, the championship is kind of over, because the gap is over 40 points if Jokke finishes ahead of Womble. And then the job for Womble will be too big. And I can say quite securely that Jokke will win the championship this year. So this race kind of decides everything. Salesman is closing to Womble all the time. Womble, who started on those softs are starting to be gone slowly. And now these medium drivers are close. Womble taking 3 seconds. Hopefully Jokke won't take any in this race. That would be a disaster for him. This Salesman actually very close now. He has not been so close in this race so far. These soft guys are clearly in trouble. These medium drivers are now the fastest drivers on the track. When Zeroy overtakes Fairley on the background, they're actually battling there, but we have action in the lead, and Salesman is going for it. Womble gets his nose in there. I'm not sure what's the gap in there, but he's there. And now they are battling hard. Salesman with the championship leader, or second place for the championship contender, That's close one. They are battling. This is not good for Womble because he's losing time. He needs to get into the pits ASAP. And now he's losing time with battling with Salesman. Salesman gets by. And that way gets the position. And now it's Enduro. Again, very close. The gap was like 2 seconds just literally 1 lap ago. And now the gap is 5/10 for Salesman. And Salesman done a very wise play there. He forced Womble to take slipstream from the dirty area of the track where there's a lot of rubber. That way Womble's grip will be even more bad. Of course those mediums won't take it well either. But the grip in the softs will be even more awful. And now there's teams that are overtaking Tompa around the outside with the broken front wing. 33 seconds, Womble nearly losing it. Enduro also giving some pressure from behind. There's only 11 drivers and this race has been surprisingly entertainment. Hope the rest of the race goes like this with no incidents, of course. If there's so much action in the race but no accidents to look at for the stewards, it's also a very, very good thing. And the drivers can paddle without touching all the time dramatically. And now Jokke overtakes Pitken, and that might be some PlayStation party calls that let me buy this lap. And if they are in the same party because Jokke is leading the championship, I think Pitken is going to play a little bit. He has nothing to lose or nothing to win. He's third in the championship, 22 points behind the driver who is not racing today. So he can increase the gap to behind, but he can't catch up the people in front. So the third place is the place for which will come from him. He can just give away 2 points for Jokke, which are critical points at the end of the season. So it's better to give those 2 points for the driver who can use them as their advance than use them by yourself that you don't gain anything on them. So that's a very good play by Pirkkonen to not even battle against Jokke. Enduro giving some pressure on those old softs, 8 laps old softs. I was expecting the soft drivers to box last or this lap, so lap 7 or lap 8 would be the stop. Now it's on the mediums because there are 20 laps to go. Now the stop for the mediums is the best strategy. So if they box this lap, mediums are the tire. Otherwise you make a mistake. Enduro is close to Womble and the gap to Salesman is already 2 seconds, so Womble has no DRS. So let's see how the table turns. That's a very bad angle for both drivers. Let's see. We have no better angle here. Now we have Enduro down the inside. Womble is not giving the position easily. And he's losing time all the time he needs to defend. Jokke is still 7 seconds off the Womble, so he has not gained any time even though Womble had to fight all the time. Of course, Jokke has to grind his way back also, but look like Womble lost so much time battling. Anyone's not pitting yet, at least for the top 3. How about the rest of the grid? None's pitting. Tompa and Teamset with a broken front wing after collision with Jokke earlier on. And Womble is staying in front of Enduro. Here's some kind of battle by the graphics. Oh, Womble going very off the track or very wide. Enduro seeing an opportunity arrived. He's just waiting and forcing Womble into the mistake. And then gain some advantage. But those softs are already 9 laps old. So the drivers should pit as soon as possible for the fresh rubber. And if they pit now, they have an opportunity to close the gap to the drivers in front. But if there's a safety car, these drivers are losing a lot. Now Enduro. Choosing to go around the outside, what can he do? Womble's wisely closing the door on the track limits, Enduro having to go. Now launching down the inside, but Womble has the inside line for the next corner for this one. He's not gonna make it for the switchback. Having the battle around the outside, and Womble comes out as a winner. And now there's flying cross and Pihkanen battling. Minor contact, but nothing big. Now those soft tires have completely worn out. And if you pit now, you will lose 23 seconds. But yeah, if you pit, you will lose 23 seconds in the pit lane. In normal conditions, and now there goes Enduro. Or I think it was Womble who goes. Gets a better exit from the corner and that way stays in front. And gets the position. Zero overtaking flying grass, but Pihkanen stuck behind. Now going and gets by. Pihkanen has already 9 seconds of penalties on this stint. So the time penalty amount is huge, but not impossible. Enduro again very close to Womble. This time, look, he has to go. He has to go for it. DRS is his advance. Womble, defense very well. This is playing for Jokke all the time. They fight is playing for Jokke because he's in clean air with fresher tires. So this is playing for Jokke. Another championship for the Finland. Womble down the inside, closing the door very wisely and in the limits. In the rules. That's perfection to close the door. That is not illegal. It's legal and it's a very clean and very wise move. And Womble pitting, Enduro staying out, so I say Enduro is losing a lot of time in here. Womble pitting and it's a 23-second limit. Let's see. So Womble should drop somewhere around. He should drop to P8. So let's see what happens. He takes the hards. Yes, Womble takes the hards. Even the mediums could go to the end. And now there's Tompa spinning around. There's no safety car because Womble would have been a winner if there was a safety car, but there was no safety car. And now everyone pitting. Tompa spinning on the penultimate corner. Does he have wing damage? Yes. Teams are taking the mediums. This was a bad call by Womble to take the hards. I can say this late in the race. Even the mediums could go to the end. Let's put the tires show there. Delahaye has literally been a Williams today. Because his pace is like Williams. Of course he's going to be F2 driver next season, so we are not expecting him to be the quickest in the world. And he knows by himself that he's not quick. So he should not be able to manage in F1 series. And his pace is not looking good F1 wise. These guys still staying out. Now Enduro boxing, so let's see. Enduro should drop the P6. Yeah, Womble should pass him. Womble should pass Enduro in the pit lane. But Enduro is wise. He takes the mediums. Womble took the hards. Let's see here. It's tight. Womble flies by just before Enduro gets his. Pit limiter off. And Womble wins by 1.5 seconds in the pit lane. So the undercut has worked. And now Pihkanen goes for the overtake with the fresh tires from Delahaye, who has the old tires underneath his car. But Womble has passed Enduro, but those hard tires will be an issue. And Womble 3 seconds. Flying cross. This literally looks like Williams driver in front. This really looks like Williams, realistic performance, Williams in the way. He goes so easily by. But Delahaye's trying to get a better exit, but he can't. He gives DRS for the other driver in front. He's out of ERS, he can't defend. and flying cross should take the pass easily. Yes. Salesman and Jokke on the medium tires. Let's see what they can do. 23 seconds is the time you lose in the pit lane. At the moment, his drivers, Jokke and Salesman would come. Actually, Jokke not even close, but Salesman could come out from the pits ahead of Womble and stay in the lead. So Salesman having a very strong race for his first ever race in World Championship Series. Enduro close to Womble again. This time Enduro has tire advantage, not the speed. No, of course the pace advantage, but the tire. But Womble is having too much pressures to win Jokke. If there's a safety car now, Jokke and people can take the hards and run till the end. Have a free pit stop here and go to the end, and then the table would be turned and Jokke would be ahead of Womble by at the end of the race. So, and then the championship would be over. Next week in Brazil we will be receiving donuts by Jokke at the end of the qualifying. And Enduro goes down the inside of Womble and he makes the move and gets by Womble, and Womble drops the P5 and Womble really struggling on those tires. Not looking good for him. Let's see what I had on the replay. This is an old replay, as we can see lap 5. That's 9 laps ago. Let's see what we had captured on the replay. Ah, fairly nearly losing it. That's what was captured 9 laps ago. But I just got my dinner here, so I may need to eat again during this live stream, so I will be muted for a second. I eat and I start to re-commentate if there's something to say. The gap is getting bigger and bigger lap by lap, so looks like Womble is in huge trouble here. And specifically if there's a safety car at the end of this race. No retirements yet, and the race is halfway. A little bit past the halfway. Womble is still within the DRS, but not close enough. Too far back to make the overtake. This is the closest gap on the track. The only drivers within 1 second, so this is the only thing to look at. Yeah, Jokke is not gonna win this race. If Salesman crashes out and there's a safety car, then we can start talking about the possible win. Someone around, it is fairly in the first sector. How has he lost it in there? How he lost it? There's no one even close. There's no one even close. Now it's Teamset, of course. Oh, Fairley has taken himself out intentionally. If this causes a safety car, Fairley gets a penalty. I say it's a safety car. I say there will be a safety car. No, there is not. Fairley was lucky. There is no safety car. Fairley was extremely lucky, because if there was a safety car, Fairley would have got a penalty for crashing out intentionally and causing a safety car. That might have been a goal ban for the next race, because, well, and now there's Stella Hype out from this race. 2 retirements in a row. Another driver going in the wall somehow. Team said, and now this virtual safety car. People, 3 retirements on a single lap. There was no retirements the whole race. And now there are 3 retirements on the same lap. I say the same lap. 3 retirements on the same lap. And after this one, before this one, there was no retirements at all. I will need to ask why did they crash out, because team said it's going to get a penalty if he crashed out intentionally. And because he caused a virtual safety car, so that will be a quali ban for him. If he can't prove how did he crash. DRS back to enabled and the virtual safety car period is over. Three retirements, no even a single safety car. Flying Crash getting his first penalty of the race. Let's see, who has the fastest lap at the moment? You need to be in top 7 in order to claim it. Womble, P5. These guys are going for the softs at the end. This will be interesting. And now Jokke and Salesman into the pits. Salesman taking the soft, Jokke having to react. with his move. Same for Zero, pitting it his lap. Taking the mediums, oh, taking the softs and going to the end. Jokke drops just behind Womble. Womble has old hards and Jokke has fresh mediums for the last 10 laps. So, if he doesn't catch that 8-second gap, I'm a bit disappointed. Let's hit the tires. These three guys should be very strong here at the end. Already 1 second off. And we are driving second sector and already 1 second gained on Womble. So if Jokke overtakes Womble, I think that's it. The gap is already over 40 points and needs to be 53 or less. So the championship is starting to be impossible for Womble. And is Jokke having a hot lap? Yes, he's trying the fastest lap of the race here. This time he has an opportunity for it. He needs to use the advantage. Claim the extra point away from Womble. Womble can't defend. If he gets it, that's it. Womble just can't defend on those old boots. And the gap is going down significantly also on this lap. 8 laps to go. Gap is 5 seconds and Womble has a penalty, Jokke don't. And Jokke doesn't get the fastest lap. How he didn't get it? Oh, he lost by 30 milliseconds. Salesman is having it. And Jokke lost it by 40 milliseconds. Oh no. Zero is very close to flying grass. He might be able to do it on the next straight. That wasn't quite easy penalty, he didn't even cut and he got a penalty. I don't think it matters here at the back. There goes. Around the outside. Oh, but there is Zero. Or flying cross having an aggressive defend. And Larry is trying this virtual safety car. Larry is trying to get back into this league, but he can't. He has a league ban. Why is the virtual safety car out of the track? Nothing happened. And here on the background, we admins. Ah, yeah, Tompa, I didn't see it. Thanks for that, Larson. But yeah, on the background, I was talking with the admins there. Both admins, Teamset and Fairly, are out from. Actually, Teamset is an admin, but he's a steward. Fairly, the only admin participating in this race, has crashed out intentionally. And Teamset made the same move. He crashed out intentionally himself. And he caused the virtual safety car, so Team said will get a quali ban for his next race for causing an unnecessary virtual safety car period by crashing out with no reason. So we don't accept that kind of behavior. Crashing out with no reason and causing a race changer for others. Looks like those softs are dead, because Jokke can't get Womble. Womble's quick enough on those hards. They are more durable. But softs are quick firstly and then they are slow as hell, so... Looks like Jokke is not gonna catch Womble in this race. Salesman has won this race easily. But without the safety car, Jokke is unable to catch up to Womble. The gap would still be 36 points, so Womble needs to outscore Jokke next week by at least 10 points in order to stretch the championship into Abu Dhabi. The gap is decreasing second a lap. But this gap is too big. This one position can turn the table for Jokke, and he has easier job next week if he can overtake Womble in this race. The gap is decreasing all the time. You need to look at the tire temps, they are hot. As we can see, they are hot. That is the outturn tire, but it's still hot. It's overheated. The gap's decreasing all the time. Womble is not catching to Enduro. Womble, by the way, has those penalties. Let's see the penalties in general. Salesman has... Well, Salesman has 3 seconds. Enduro has 9 seconds. Womble has 6 seconds. And Jokke has nothing. So Jokke can win, Jokke can be third. Womble is trying to stay within 3 seconds of Enduro. He could get in front by the penalties. If Womble finishes within the 3 seconds of Enduro, he goes. Actually, it would be at the moment Salesman, Womble, Jokke, Enduro. If Womble takes even a bit more penalties, Jokke would go to third and Womble stay behind in fourth place. Salesman leading the race by 10 seconds. So these drivers are equally quick. It's the final laps which decide the positions. How many warnings does Womble need in order to take another penalty? He needs 2 warnings, so next warning will not do anything, but the second warning will give it a penalty. Jokke is 1 warning away from a penalty. If he gets a penalty, he needs to be within 3 seconds of Womble. At the moment, he should be safely in front. There's also Enduro, so podium is in his hands. Womble within 2 seconds of Enduro, so looks like Womble will be second and Jokke third today, and Enduro will drop down to P4. The amount of points given would still stay the same. They are just one position up higher, but they can still. By these results, Womble needs to outscore Jokke next week by at least 10 points in order to keep this thing alive. Jokke and Womble are both closing to Enduro on these last running laps. Salesman having another penalty, so he has 6 seconds. And 9 for Enduro. That was a clear cut by Womble, wasn't it? Yes, so Womble is 1 warning away from having 9 seconds of penalties. And when Jokke having none at the back, if he's second, he is driver of the day. After a terrible start, terrible qualifying, then still running away without penalties, he's way up to P2. So Jokke is having a hot run here. In the best case, he can be second in this race after Salesman. And if he's second, I say the championship is over for the last 2 rounds. Jokke will be crowned the champion next week in Brazil by these stands. But I don't call it too early. Let's wait till the end. Womble needs the 9 seconds of penalties for my case to happen. Actually, at the moment, by these caps, Jokke would be second, so. Isn't it? Yes, he's within 5 seconds. So, even by these stands, Jokke would be second. Womble stays in the position. So, Enduro and Jokke will swap positions and Womble stay third. Jokke just needs to secure these remaining laps for not taking a warning. And if Womble takes even a single warning, which was close in that position, then if both drivers in front have 9 seconds, is kind of race lost. And Jokke is climbing huge points and increasing the championship point to 42. But let's wait, the final lap is about to begin. Nothing is settled yet. 1 single mistake and Jokke really has to push in order to get the second place. Of course, Salesman had an amazing drive, +1 position. But if Jokke is without penalties second place, Salesman has 6 seconds of penalties. So the domination on the line would not be that big, and that way Jokke will be the driver of the day if he doesn't make any mistakes. 1 more lap, final lap of the race, let's check the tires. 9 laps old softs. They should have some kind of grip. They made 10 laps at the start. So... let's see, he got the track, that's very close to the limits. Not over. And Jokke also not getting a penalty. All power in for the straights. Everyone using all ERS available in the car. Salesman having an easy win here. It's a surprise if Salesman does not win the race. It is a big surprise. At the moment, Salesman wins, Jokke is second, Womble third, and Enduro fourth after all penalties. Fastest lap goes for Salesman. Through the final corner to win in Kota by a margin. Final possible corner for corner cutting. He doesn't do it. Jokke is second today. Enduro across the line. Womble second for now. But Jokke crossed the line to claim second position. And I can say the World Championship. The gap is 42 points between Jokke and Womble. It is not enough to secure it yet. But next week he has easy job to do. Pihkanen is 5th. Actually, Salesman won by 10 seconds. Zero 5th, Pihkanen 6th. And Flying Grass making donuts for P7. If he gets disqualification here. Oh no. That's P7 for Flying Grass. And the race is officially over. I think we may need to have some interviews. Because it has been a wonderful race. Hope we get someone to Discord for interviews. Salesman has won the race by 10 seconds, but I say Jokke is the driver of the day because he managed to pull through the back with no penalties. The no penalties is the key for being the driver of the day in here. I have no idea which photo I got, so I need to take all of them again. Jokke, driver of the day today. Yeah, there are interviews on Discord, so just join us on the Discord side. The race at Kota has ended, with Salesman winning, Jokke second, Womble third. And I can say that Jokke will be crowned as World Championship winner next week in Brazil. Interlagos. There's the race results. Everyone pulled a one stop. So let's see how many people will join the interview. Womble is already screaming about the track limits, he's not happy. Well, I'm not. I don't think Womble's happy because, well, he's third behind his championship contender, which he should beat. He has lost for him again, and well, now he's behind. Well, Tim said is joining shortly for the interview. And now it's Womble in here. Now it's Jokke this time, actually very interesting. And then first time ever, and it's, I can say 99% championship. I'm surprised if you managed to fuck this up. I'm so mad at you. Well, and now there's one more space. This time we can have 4 drivers into interview. I think we can start off while we are waiting for others. So let's go by the positions. So, yeah, Jokke was second. Very surprising result after being down in the grid like P8 at the start, and then you, with a strategy I wasn't even thinking about, you pulled through to second place.
Yep.
Were you from the start of the race thinking a medium soft, or did you had a medium hard in your mind and then you swapped to the softs mid-race?
No. It was main strategy for me.
Yeah, the medium soft.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you knew automatically that when it's rain in the qualifying, you can easily take the mediums, be slow for 5 laps, and then push on the limits till the end and be second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good strategy. But I wasn't even thinking about that strategy. I was thinking it's medium, hard, or soft medium. There's nothing else you can do. You cannot swap the soft medium, but looks like you can.
Yeah.
Then is Womble online. I cannot hear him for some reason. Womble is talking.
Yeah, is that working
now I can hear you.
Yeah.
It was on mute, I didn't even realise.
Yeah. So, you were P3, you must be very disappointed after being the whole race in front of your contender, and at the end, you're behind.
Track limits, just so annoying. They've got no comment, I had nothing to say.
Yeah, the track limits are always a part of F1, and if you go a bit too much, you get a penalty. Jokke had an amazing showcase last week that how frustrating the track limits can be. You get taken out and you get a penalty for corner cutting basically, and you never done.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, I suppose. Still a good race though, to be honest. I really enjoyed it, especially battling with one of the Renaults. Good fighting, that was. Like whoever it was, fair play to him.
Yeah, I think you might have lost the race for battling with Enduro because you lost so much time. You lost over 2 seconds. That was the gap to Jokke. So.
I know. I wanted to start in the mediums, but for some reason I chucked on the softs, which was that was it. As soon as I realised that, I was like, that's it. Race over.
Yeah. Your strategy was soft, hard. Which was quite interesting move because you could go on the mediums till the end from lap 7, lap 9, and you decided to do the hards. Was it good or bad decision now, post race, thinking of it?
I don't really know, to be honest, because believe it or not, I've never done a 50% race in the USA.
How?
Like on F1
Oh,
2019. I've never done one. I
How?
honestly,
How even last season?
we didn't race last. I didn't race there last season at the time. No, we did season.
Yeah, Mexico was last season.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
last
It was because you won the champ. Yeah. No,
Yes, I've never raced more than 50% around Mexico, so I didn't want to risk taking the mediums. Like I would have started on the mediums and gone to the soft in the end, like everyone else did.
Okay, so yeah, that's very
But since I
interesting.
was chucked on the soft, I didn't know what the mediums would be like, so I wanted to be safe and go in the house.
Your only task for the remainder of the season is to win the champ, get as much points as you can. Don't practice, just go blind in the race and hope you get the best result. Never have done any races in Kota.
I could try, but the championship's looking really slim now, so I won't be surprised if Yoke wins next weekend. Wins the championship, and fair play, he's deserved it. This
Yeah.
season he's been more consistent than anyone.
By my
this
quick
season.
maths, you need to outscore Yoke by at least 16 points next week.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
So if you're first, Yoke needs to be, he can be 8th or 7th. And it will go to Abu Dhabi. So you really need to be up high. You need to be in top 2 automatically.
Yeah,
So
this is gonna be a big ask, to be honest.
Yoke cannot
But,
be top 7 in any positions.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm willing to give it everything next weekend.
yeah, there's only like
see.
10 drivers, so it's kind of impossible to be outside the required limit.
It is literally on the verge of impossible now. So
Be 5 laps down, finish the race, world
like-
champion. So-
yeah, still have a chance. Obviously, it's not
There's
there as
hope.
much as I hope. No.
There's hope.
Yeah.
So-
just need a
Yeah,
miracle to
it's
happen,
not
really.
over.
A lot of things can happen. A lot
Yeah.
of things can happen, but I doubt it is gonna happen. To be honest, no, that's not.
Yeah, next season, new try with 22 races, with Hanoi and Netherlands in the first 5 rounds. So new tracks. There's everyone has a chance in Hanoi or Netherlands. No one has a second
Yeah,
win
looking
before
forward-
the
looking forward to it.
checkered flags out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still happy with the comeback that I've done, since I was miles behind at the start of the season due to my stupidity. So I'm just gonna say that's my stupidity.
Yeah, it was
But-
amazing.
Yeah, I just glad to keep the fight going, and obviously I was leading at one point and then lost it again. So but I'm still happy to be known as a good racer, and like pretty happy with my comeback. So I can't really argue, really.
Yep. Thanks for one bolt this time, and now let's move on to the flying cross debut race for like 7 races, racing for the first time. And well, you was 7th, last of the running cars, but at least you finished the race. That's the main objective you had.
Yeah.
What was the strategy? It was a 1 stop, but it was
Soft medium.
yeah.
I didn't know any strategy, so I take easy one.
Yeah, that's it's a safe strategy to go with the soft medium. If you can
Yeah.
somehow handle the tires, it's a safe play. Of course, soft hard is more safer, but soft medium is pretty easy. It goes quite easily. You really need to push hard and test the
Yeah.
tires if you really want. It's
Yeah,
not
I
easy.
didn't have any grip on the fucking race, so yeah. And I make big mistake on the first corner with Pihkanen. I don't know what happened. I brake too late and I touched him. That was very bad dive, but I give position back, so that was pretty fair after. But he lost place to 0.
Yeah, you made some minor donuts at the end. Or you tried. The car just couldn't do it.
What? I didn't hear it.
Well, we have no one else in the interviews at the moment. And Jokke the Gamer, driver of the day in today's race. And next week, Rachel will be the last race for me, commentary side, because I will be missing the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix if it goes there. So then I need to make a race highlight. So I kind of hope Jokke wins last week and that's it. But if it goes, Wompler can try to stretch it to Abu Dhabi and try to get it in there. But then I need to make the race highlight. So final stream in this game next week. And then we will see what happens in F1 2020. But thanks for you three for being at the interview. I'm going to shut down the stream. Next week, Rachel in the Lagos. Possible championship decider. See you next time.